Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz, and guys, I'm here to talk about the first fight that took place on the David Benavidez versus David Morrell card on the pay-per-view portion. It was an intriguing matchup on paper. Jesus Ramos, who is labeled and hyped to be one of the future stars in boxing at 154 pounds, 22 wins, 1 loss, 18 KOs out of Phoenix, Arizona, who's ranked 10 in the WBO, 8 in the IBF, 6th in the WBC, 7 in the WBA. Punching power, likes to mix it up, can box well, excellent ring IQ, versus Jeison Rosario out of the Dominican Republic, who came in with a record of 24 wins, 4 losses, 18 knockouts. He's the former unified 154-pound champion after TKO and Julian J. Rock Williams back in 2020. That's 5 years ago already. Now, the question coming in for me in this fight, right? Because it's obvious that Jesus Ramos was a favorite coming in. Much younger, fresher, and just has everything to be a potential star in the 154-pound weight class. Now, now the question that I was gonna get to is about Jeison Rosario. Yes, Jesus Ramos fighting Jeison Rosario, former unified champion, who's been in there with some of the best in the weight class. But the question for me was, how much does Jeison Rosario have left in the tank for Jesus Ramos? Because even though Jeison Rosario is only 29, right? He's only 29, supposed to be in his physical prime. He's supposed to be right now getting his best fights in and making his money, his biggest paydays. But 5 years ago, he defeated a fighter in Julian J. Rock Williams, who's a tremendous fighter, became unified champion, knocking him out in 5 rounds. Then Jeison Rosario fought Jermell Charlo in what was a pay-per-view card during COVID. Jermell Charlo knocked Jeison Rosario with a jab to the body. And that shocked me, like, whoa. And then Erickson Lubin did the same thing. And then Brian Mendoza, these are tremendous fighters, did the same thing, body shots. And I said to myself, I've never seen such a weak freaking core on a fighter. And it sucked because Jeison Rosario is a really good fighter. He's exciting, he comes to fight, punching power, but he cannot take body shots. He has to have the weakest core in the history of the sport, if anything, right now in boxing, because he cannot take body shots. So coming into this fight, yes, he got a draw over Jarrett Hurd, right? In a fight that I thought could have gone either way, but they gave it a draw. Good. Beat a former unified champion in Jarrett Hurd, who in his day was punches and punches, just an exciting fighter, and was one of my favorite fighters. My question for Rosario coming into the Jesus Ramos fight, how much does he have left? And another, can he take Jesus Ramos' body shot? Because Jesus Ramos not only has a really good IQ, but he's a really good body puncher and whacks away to the body pretty hard. So that was my concern in this fight for Jeison Rosario. When Jesus Ramos starts attacking the body, how much will Rosario take? And honestly, he surprised me because Jesus Ramos was landing at will and Jeison Rosario was taking every bit of those body shots. And I'm like, wow, okay. He's taking those shots, and I was concerned, but at the same time I wasn't because we're in the eighth round, and hey, Jeison Rosario is still there taking those body shots. So I'm like, okay, maybe Jeison Rosario has a chance. If he lets his hand go, 'cause he's got punching power, he may do something. But it was not the case, man. Jeison Rosario, like the commentators are saying, yes, he's 29, but he's taken a lot of punishment in his career. He's been in some tough fights. He was able to get J. Rock Williams out of there in 5 rounds. But the KO losses to Jermell Charlo, Erickson Lubin, and Brian Mendoza, and the fight with Jared Hurd, those fights took a lot out of him. You know, some fighters they age, they peak early, and some peak late. And I guess in Jeison Rosario's case, he peaked early. And now at 29, his body's breaking down on him, man. He's no longer competing like he did against J. Rock Williams in a performance, in one of the best performances I've seen from any boxer, man. Went in there and he went in there and beat the hell out of J. Rock Williams and became unified champion. And his fight with Jermell Charlo was pretty intriguing. But after that, man, it was Jeison Rosario was no longer. I'm surprised he even came back after the Brian Mendoza fight. People were done saying that it's time to retire. Can't take body shots. Retire. You know, you're 27 then. When was that fight? 2022. So you're 29, 23. So he was like 26 then, 27. And I'm like, and I was like, damn, he's so young, and they're telling him to retire. It sucks. He's a good fighter, former unified champion. But now I have to agree that Jeison Rosario, at 29, has to retire, man, because I don't know. Um, he was able to absorb a lot of punishment against Jesus Ramos, but I think if Jeison Rosario keeps going, it's not gonna look good. He's 29. Good. Time to get out because you're young. Preserve your health because taking that amount of punishment it's not good. It's one thing to take that amount of punishment and let your hands go and have and fight back and have your moments and have a chance. But this was a shutout. I don't think Jeison Rosario even won a round. He was just absorbing body shots, headshots. Yes, he was aggressive, hands up. He was throwing here and there, but it was not what it was not. There was no sign in the fight where you would say, okay, where we saw Jesus Ramos in danger. There was no sign of that at all. It was just pummeling by Jesus Ramos on Jeison Rosario. So whoever was a Jeison Rosario fan watching that fight, it was a sad day. Jesus Ramos, on to bigger and better things, stopping a former unified champion in Jeison Rosario. Jeison Rosario, it's either back to the drawing board or retirement. It's like Fernando Vargas. He peaked early, and at 29, he hanged them up again after his fight with Ricardo Mayorga. Some fighters are like that. You know, they go through a hard career, they get some tough fights in early, and they fade fast. You know, and maybe this is Jeison Rosario's case. He's 29, but his body's like 39. You know, that may be, and that's what may be happening here. But all in all, man, kudos to the heart of Jeison Rosario, but Jesus Ramos was a bit too much. And yeah, that's why the referee jumped in and stopped it because Jeison Rosario was just taking too much blows. Jeison Rosario, every fighter that goes in, every boxer, every person that goes into a box ring, they're warriors, but they're at the end of the day, they're humans. There's so much they could take. You got to respect the heart when a fighter shows it, like Jeison Rosario. But it ain't about taking blows, man. You got to fight back. You got to give it back as well, and that's in Jeison Rosario. He was not doing that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this fight as Jesus Ramos climbs his way, continues to climb the ladder to world title contention as he's ranked pretty high in all organizations: 10 WBO, 8 IBF, 6 WBC, and 7 WBA. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Jose Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.